Tonight, the jury is deliberating in a historic murder trial. The man accused in shooting Tanya Myers has his charge upgraded and hoping to break a Grey Cup drought in Winnipeg.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. After an almost 2-decade-long police investigation, the historic murder trial of the man accused of killing Misha Pavelick continued for its 4th week. Jury members have finally been sequestered to reach a verdict after hearing a lengthy list of instructions from the judge. Sierra D'Souza Botts explains.
The judge, in the ongoing trial of a man accused of Misha Pavelick's death, continued to deliver instructions today to the 12-member jury. Pavelick died after being fatally stabbed at a high school graduation party held at a campground near Last Mountain Lake on May 21st, 2006. Justice Catherine Dawson provided a lengthy list of instructions to jurors, which began on Monday, due to the large amount of evidence presented over the past 3 weeks of proceedings. One of the key directions to the jury was to deliberate with caution when discussing some of the witnesses who testified, as parts of their testimony may be incriminating or helpful to the accused, as several of the witnesses were considered suspects in Pavelick's death or friends of the accused during the nearly 20-year investigation. However, she said that does not mean their entire testimony would be unreliable. The judge also told jurors how they must decide to charge the accused, whether he is found guilty of second-degree murder or manslaughter, or neither. In order for the accused to be found guilty of second-degree murder, the Crown had to provide evidence the accused had the intent to cause death or bodily harm to Pavelick. Jurors can decide the accused is not guilty of second-degree murder, but is still guilty of manslaughter, which is a homicide without intent. The jury has now been sequestered as they work to reach a verdict. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
The man accused in the shooting death of a Weyburn woman has his charge upgraded from manslaughter to murder. Chris Fallman is now accused of second-degree murder in the death of Tanya Myers. She was fatally shot on a highway near Weyburn in mid-September. The new charge came about during a court appearance Wednesday in Regina. RCMP laid the now-stayed manslaughter charge against Fallman on November the 3rd, along with several other firearm-related offenses. Regina police asking the public to avoid the 1300 block of Broadway Avenue after a multi-vehicle crash. Now, details are scarce in this, but we can tell you that a school bus was involved. EMS, along with Regina Fire and Protective Services, were also on scene. We'll pass along more information as soon as it is made available. As part of the Municipal Grants Program, the Regina Police Service will be receiving a large amount of funding from the Government of Saskatchewan. The $6.8 million in police grants will look to add 3 positions with the Internet Child Exploitation Program, 9 members to the Crime Reduction Team, 2 to the Trafficking Response Team, 2 more to the Missing Persons Task Force, and 3 to the Crisis Team positions.
But I also could highlight the work of our crime reduction teams, where they are really digging into illegal firearms, 3D printed firearms. That is something that is becoming more of a concern every day. This also funds positions in our school resource officer program. And so I think about building relationships with kids and the value that has as they grow up and become adults, and having someone who's a trusted partner in a uniform.
The funding will be for the 2025-26 year and is set to support 49 positions overall in the city. The Saskatchewan Health Authority has rolled out a new process providing daily updates to emergency service disruptions. Launched on Monday, the process is designed to provide patients, families, and communities with accurate information about emergency room availability. All emergency services, regardless of length, are now being publicly posted on the SHA website, with updates happening daily at 4 p.m. 7 days a week.
We know we need to provide timely and accurate information to the public about emergency rooms that might be disrupted. And so a major step is standardizing how we're making those decisions. We had a lot of variation across the province, and so this really gets us to a point where we'll be much more consistent in terms of what is actually an emergency room disruption.
According to an SHA release, work is also underway to enhance the process by developing a longer-term user-friendly public interface to support real-time updates. The provincial government says it will work with the community of Richmond to clean up a property that has been occupied by a fringe conspiracy group. Now, back in September, 16 people were arrested in connection with an ongoing investigation. The group had occupied a former school building which did not have sewer service. Today, some town residents came to the legislative building with concerns about cleanup costs. The government suggested that it may be able to help.
Ultimately, what I'm saying is it should be the owner of the property that is paying. If there's, some bridge dollars that are needed, I think the minister had indicated that we can, forward some municipal revenue sharing. We can work with the community to make this work, because I would agree that the community is unnecessarily, and due to no fault of their own, been through more in the last couple of years than any community needs to be.
Richmond residents estimate that the community has already spent $75,000 on legal and other costs in dealing with the situation. All right, Sabine joins us for our first look at weather tonight, and not a bad day considering we're in the middle of November right now.
I know. And I've been watching the long-range forecast to see when we can actually expect to see these temperatures really drop. And as of right now, it's still looking quite nice. And even today, we saw those above zero temperatures, above seasonal temperatures, and that's only going to get warmer by the time we get into Friday. Now, there is snow on the way. That is something I'll talk more about as we take a look at your full forecast coming up. But in terms of today, we had a pretty uneventful day. Not much in terms of active weather, just a little bit of cloud cover that was rolling through. But for much of Saskatchewan, we saw clear and sunny conditions. And even right now, our current temperatures, except for Stony Rapids, all seeing above zero temperatures. Maple Creek currently sitting at 10 degrees. Now, the average for reference is usually hovering around about -1 for a daytime high, and the low is about -10. We were much warmer. We got up to 7 degrees late this afternoon, and like I said, it's only going to warm up even more when we get to about Friday. But I'll have all those details and more, including when the snow is arriving, in your full forecast. Lee?
Thank you, Sabine. Regina's executive committee met today, receiving a report by city administration on how to handle homelessness in the city next year. Mick Fable has details.
Like other major cities, Regina is looking for new and innovative ways to address the homelessness situation in 2026. A report from administration was tabled at City Council, detailing a framework to support the city's most vulnerable and a plan to allocate $1.6 million to the situation.
The report in front of Council today recommends purposeful enhancements to current practice to ensure a response is collaborative, coordinated, documented, and, of course, dignified, and will prioritize relationship building, enhanced supports, and a goal of connection to housing and services.
Recommendations from the report include providing the $1.6 million from the defunct Community and Social Impact Regina Inc. to the Community Safety and Wellbeing Branch, directing $500,000 to the Regina's Community Investment Grant Program, $800,000 in funding to a third-party organization or team in the city, which will lead operations of a street and encampment outreach initiative, along with formalizing the city's relationship with Namrand Housing to support coordination and implementation of the city's plan. A dozen delegates shared their thoughts about the proposed model and what it means for the city and the people it will impact directly.
If we're concerned with community safety and well-being, then the city must do whatever it can to end houselessness. It is unhoused people who are unsafe. Their well-being is not being taken care of. And of course, the city can't do everything. But all of this jurisdictional squabbling just means more people dying out there.
Additionally, the report is asking the city to allocate $820 million from the 2026 budget to advance the community and well-being plan, the plan to end homelessness, and the encampment response. City Council will discuss the report at their next meeting, November 19th. Mick Fable, CTV News, Regina.
All right, football fans, here we go. We saw on Monday at Mosaic Stadium just how starving Saskatchewan is to see their team lift another Grey Cup. And it's not lost on a team what it would mean to the province to have a chance at the championship. Donovan Mace has more.
The 13th man can celebrate in 2013. It's been a long 12 years since the Green and White last played a snap in a Grey Cup game.
it ended with the Riders lifting the trophy.
It's so much support in the province right now.
Now, in the years since, Saskatchewan has had their chances at returning to the game, only to experience heartbreak time and time again.
It just feels like this time is different, and I can feel like the fans believe it. You know, last game was sold out. We had multiple sold out games this year. You know, so it's just like we're turning that page.
After dozens of fans sent them off Monday, the team is feeling the boost from a province away.
A lot of teams, you know, they'll say, like, my high school, for instance, like Spartan Nation. It's like, no, we're Spartan City, Spartan County. Like, it is truly Rider Nation. There's fans everywhere.
The fans are amazing. We know we have passionate fans. Like, you can't even, you know, go to Walmart or simple stuff without, you know, getting called out, signing a few things, taking pictures. So it's been crazy this year.
And the hope to give Rider Nation the ring they deserve.
It's a province that appreciates what we've done this year, and I hope we can give what they deserve and bring a cup home to them.
Those moments are kind of just like stuff that kind of stick with you, and the send-off of all the fans that kind of came out just to kind of watch us get on the bus just kind of tells you how important it is.
Now, each of the last two instances, Saskatchewan went more than a decade without appearing in a Grey Cup. The Riders have gone on to win, doing so breaking a 13-year drought in 1989 and a 10-year absence in 2007. Jonathan May, CTV News, Regina.
Second and 8 for Harris. Looks to the end zone. Far corner, drops it in there for Keyshawn Johnson. Touchdown, Riders.
And good news on the Keyshawn Johnson front. The Riders' leading receiver was practicing today. He has missed the last 3 games due to injury. Johnson had a team-high 1,159 yards receiving, along with 4 touchdowns, 2 of those against the Alouettes. If he does play, it would give the Riders their preferred starting 5 receivers, along with Dante Myers, Samuel Emelis, Kean Schaefer-Baker, and Tommy Neild.
Road to the Cup, brought to you by Regina Plumbing and Heating, official partner of the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And we'll have more on the Riders a little later on with X's and O's. The federal government made an investment today into preventing and reducing veteran homelessness across the country. The Minister of Veteran Affairs, Jill McKnight, was at the Regina Royal Canadian Legion to announce the government partnering with 10 organizations across Canada, investing more than $22.5 million. The funding comes through the Veteran Homelessness Program, which funds a total of 34 projects across Canada.
We know that there are some who face unique challenges, service-related disabilities, and mental health conditions such as post-traumatic stress disorder and the effects of traumatic brain injury, which can make it harder to find and maintain stable housing and employment. That's why community-led, tailored solutions like this are so important.
As of last month, the federal government estimates that there are about 1,800 veterans experiencing homelessness across the country. Well, hundreds of Remembrance Day services were held across Saskatchewan yesterday, and Regina was no exception. Those in the Queen City were busy attending traditional ceremonies at war memorials, as well as a new wartime tribute concert. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details.
Serving in the military for over 30 years, Brad Resena says Remembrance Day carries a personal meaning to him.
I always remember my great uncle. He was a farm boy from around Carrot River. He joined the Army in the First World War.
Resena is one of hundreds of people at Victoria Park in Regina paying tribute to Canadian soldiers who gave their lives in times of war. A ceremonial parade surrounding the cenotaph was featured, along with the laying of wreaths.
It remembers the veterans that served in the wars, the ones that didn't come home and the ones that did and weren't quite the same as when they left.
This year also marks the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, where more than 1 million Canadians served and 45,000 lost their lives.
Now that World War II veterans are no longer amongst us in the southern Saskatchewan, it's very important that we maintain the legacy that they've left for us.
In another part of the city, people are honoring the day in a different way.
Sing, sing, sing.
A wartime tribute concert by the Nightingales returned to the Queen City this year, singing well-known songs from the First and Second World War, taking people back to a time of remembrance.
They're a visiting group at Dark Hall, so they've rented the space to be here. So they've programmed it themselves, but it's celebration music by the Andrews Sisters and kind of times gone by.
Usually held at the Artesian Theatre, the group of local artists changed its venue to the Dark Hall, leading to a sold-out show of almost 400 people. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Nominations now open for the Regina Citizen of the Year presented by CTV. A Citizen of the Year award is given each year to an individual who exemplifies excellence in community service and is making a difference in our community. To learn how to nominate someone, head to our website, ctvregina.ca. The deadline to submit your nomination is Friday, December the 5th, and we'll announce this year's recipient on New Year's Eve. Still ahead, an Ontario couple wins a court decision over their treatment by Air Transit. Plus, President Trump is named in Jeffrey Epstein emails that were released by the Democrats.
Tonight, a $2 million civil suit hand-delivered to an inmate blows the lid off a predator's secret.
I have never seen this kind of horrific assault.
A serial rapist's identity, long protected by the courts, can now be revealed.
Future people that he will be in contact with deserve to know that he's a risk.
Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
An Ontario couple denied boarding by Air Transit wants to share their cautionary tale. Began with a recording of an interaction with airline staff that ended with a judicial ruling. Adrian Gabriel has more on what happened and the crucial video evidence.
We want to go home, that's all. On March 31st, 2024, Madhu Haridas and his wife arrived at Punta Cana International Airport to check in for their Air Transit flight home to Toronto. The couple were finishing their first vacation away as husband and wife.
We had fun except the last day.
The last day?
Yeah.
Not so fun.
Not so fun.
That's because when they arrived at the airport, this Air Transat check-in supervisor refused to check them in unless the couple erased video they had taken of their customer service experience.
I need to delete all features of all video for check-in.
When they first arrived at the airport, they asked an Air Transit agent where they should line up. Haridas's wife was traveling with an Indian passport and a Canadian work permit.
He first yelled and told to stand behind a red line. So there was a red marker on the floor. So when he yelled, immediately we stood behind.
The couple say they asked the agent to stop shouting. It was during that exchange he first refused to check them in.
When he allowed everyone else to check in, that's when I started taking videos.
Then came the ultimatum.
Okay. Deleted all information with meeting your cell phone.
It is a form of extortion or blackmailing, essentially.
Never allowed to check in, they had to purchase expensive same-day tickets with another airline. They took their case to small claims court. In a written decision, an Ontario judge found that Air Transat's conduct was effectively egregious. The judge applauded the couple for taking video, which assisted him in reaching his decision.
There is no right for the airline or any airline employee to privacy that would deprive you of documenting how they are treating you.
As a passenger, you should know your rights before you travel.
Air Transat has declined to comment on the court's ruling.
The small claims court ruling resulted in Air Transat having to pay $7,000 to the couple, who also say their payment included an email from the airline congratulating them on their victory. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Mississauga, Ontario.
A stunning development involving a decades-old cold case in Nevada and a missing woman from Calgary. Anna Sylvia Just was reported missing from Calgary back in 1966, later reported missing from Nevada in 1968. Las Vegas police say with the help of Calgary police, they've identified her remains found in a desert in the 1970s. At the time of her death, police believe she had been killed by Thomas Hanley, a well-known union mob boss. Hanley, who died in custody in 1979, was never charged in her death. The White House is lashing out after Democrats released emails today from deceased convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The emails mentioned Donald Trump multiple times, with the Democrats alleging he knew of Epstein's criminal activities. Joy Malvin has the latest.
The private emails are straight from convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein discussing his relationship with Donald Trump. In 2011, 3 years after Epstein pleaded guilty to sex crimes involving a minor in Florida, he wrote to his now convicted partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, "I want you to realize that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim spent hours at my house with him. He was never once mentioned, police chief, etc." Maxwell responded, "I've been thinking about that." That victim, Republicans say, was Virginia Giuffre, who said she never witnessed wrongdoing by Trump. In her memoir, she described being recruited from Trump's Mar-a-Lago club by Ghislaine Maxwell and trafficked to rich and powerful men, including the former Prince Andrew. In 2019, while President Trump was running for re-election, Epstein wrote author Michael Wolff, taking issue with Trump's claim that he kicked Epstein out of his club, alleging Trump knew about Epstein's illegal behavior. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop. Maxwell, who's reportedly applying for clemency, told the president's lawyer in July she never saw Trump at Epstein's home.
"I never witnessed the president in any inappropriate setting in any way."
The White House accuses Democrats of trying to smear the president by releasing selective emails.
It just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party.
The Trump administration has formally closed the Epstein case, but Democrats hope releasing these emails can force a vote in the Republican-controlled House and get all of the files released. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
And at least 37 people were killed when a bus veered off the road and fell down a cliff in southern Peru. Local health officials say the passenger bus struck a van, then plunged more than 200 meters into a ravine. 36 people were announced dead on scene. 1 died in hospital. 26 people are being treated for injuries. Still ahead, preparing for the Grey Cup, a special group of visitors spent the afternoon at a Regina retirement home.
Expanding trade in Saskatchewan. Thursday on Your Morning, trade representatives are overseas right now trying to expand our network, but is it working? We'll find out.
Let's take a look at what you can expect for your forecast tonight into, well, the next week or so. A beautiful shot overlooking Mosaic Stadium, brought to you by our Skycam, which is brought to you by Hospitals of Regina Foundation. The lottery, home lottery is the deadline. Let me get that straight. The deadline, absolute deadline, is midnight on Friday. So if you've been thinking about getting your tickets, you should do them sooner or later, because again, that deadline is fast approaching. Currently sitting at 2 degrees in Regina, winds just over 5 kilometers an hour. Did warm up to about 7 degrees late this afternoon. I'm saying 10 because we're going to continue to see these temperatures climb as we go into tomorrow and Friday. Now, in terms of what we dealt with or saw come through the province today, not a whole lot. A little bit of the cloud cover starting to roll in. We will start to see some snow make its way into Saskatchewan, but not until later tomorrow, and that is going to primarily stay in the north. It's a system coming from Alberta. But for the rest of Saskatchewan, we're going to see mostly clear conditions. Now, starting out your morning, we'll see, like I said, we'll start to see a little bit more of the clouds rolling in. As you can see, far up north in Alberta, there is a system bringing with it snow. As it makes its way eventually into Saskatchewan, it will turn into some mixed precipitation there. But again, most of central southern Saskatchewan expecting to see mainly sunny conditions for much of the day, and temperatures again remaining above average. Now, by the time we get into Friday, a little bit of a different story. Cloudier conditions for most of the day, and starting to see more of the precipitation come into central southern Saskatchewan. A little into the areas around Saskatoon Wynyard could see more snow coming through, and in the southern parts, especially in the southeast, we'll see the precipitation in the form of rain. But by the time we get into the afternoon, Regina and surrounding areas will also see some scattered flurries. These systems aren't large. That's going to leave large snowfall totals or rainfall amounts. But that is coming, and we'll talk about that in your 7-day forecast. By the time we get into Friday evening, conditions clear, leaving us with them mostly clear. We'll see a little bit of cloud cover heading into Saturday and Sunday, but it is the temperatures I want to talk about. So again, as you can see up in La Loche tomorrow, as we saw on the map, expecting to see some light snow. 1 is the expected high, 2 for La Ronge and cloudy, 3 and cloudy for Prince Albert, 4 with a mix of sun and cloud for Lloydminster. And we'll just gradually start to see these temperatures get warmer and warmer. 6 for North Battleford, 7 and a mix of sun and cloud for Saskatoon and Yorkton tomorrow. In the southwest, those are some very nice temperatures. We may not see that warm of conditions in the southeast or even in Regina, but Maple Creek, Swift Current, 17 is the expected daytime high with a mix of sun and cloud, 14 and a mix of sun and cloud for Moose Jaw in the southeast, 16 for Assiniboia and 12 and mainly sunny for Estevan, 11 and mainly sunny for Weyburn. So what does that mean for Regina? Well, tonight we're dipping to -5, clear conditions. Tomorrow, warming up to 10 degrees, nothing but sunshine, winds up to 40. Now, as we take a look at your next 7 days, we will see the winds pick up by Friday. So again, sunny and 10 tomorrow, clouds rolling in as we saw on the tracker there. 12 is the expected high on Friday, but again, winds picking up to about 55. By Saturday, we'll start to see those temperatures gradually start to come down. 5 and sunny on Saturday. I have this logo here because there is a very important game coming up in Winnipeg on Sunday. Mainly sunny, 4 degrees, and then we'll start to see the snow and rain arrive. So if you are driving to Winnipeg this weekend, great driving conditions there. Things will change by the time we head into Sunday evening. By Monday morning, make sure you're checking the highway hotline because the flurries are expected to begin Monday morning and then just continuing. By Monday evening, we're expecting about 10 centimeters of snow. By Tuesday morning, another 10 centimeters of snow, and then we'll start to see those temperatures get back into seasonal range, if not a little cooler, -3 on Tuesday and -4 on Wednesday. So, again, if you're driving to Winnipeg, great driving conditions there. On the way back, baby, be a little mindful of what you can expect for road conditions coming back from Winnipeg.
Man, you're putting a lot of pressure on the riders. The day after, 10 centimeters of snow, so either you're going to be like really happy, yeah, oof.
Monday night.
Yeah, still.
I mean, it was bound to happen. It held off for this long. And again, as of right now, no snow for Grey Cup Sunday.
Yeah, that's good.
Right?
Yeah, it's not as cold as it was back
then. And again, it looks like we're going to see temperatures above 0, around +2, +4. So a great day for Grey Cup Sunday.
Okay. All right, I'll give you a passing grade.
Okay.
Good job. Thanks, babe.
You bet.
Residents at the Renaissance Retirement Home in Regina hosted their own party to get ready for the Grey Cup this Sunday. And as Damien Smith tells us, a few special guests stopped by.
I think Saskatchewan has the best fans in the world, in Canada.
A sea of green at Regina's Renaissance Retirement Home. After a close Western final win against the BC Lions on Saturday, it was a nail-biter for many.
It was phenomenal. And Harris played very, very well. Short passes, long passes. And, of course, you got your fullback running the ground plays as well. And, no, it was exciting.
The senior community is ready to see Saskatchewan hoist its 5th Grey Cup, with many reminiscing about what a championship from the province's biggest sports team can mean.
The streets were just packed with people and cars and whatever, and probably weren't as many policemen back then, but it just went wild.
Former rider Steve Mazurek has seen how the city and province can come alive with the Grey Cup win.
We've only got 4 Grey Cup championships, and we won our 5th, and so that gets everybody stirred up in the north, south, east, or west.
Mazurek knows the importance of a win-or-go-home game. He has 2 Grey Cup rings as an executive, but on the field is still reminded of the 23-20 loss in 1976 to the Ottawa Rough Riders.
And you get an opportunity to play for the Rough Riders and then go the distance and play in a Grey Cup. I was only fortunate enough to play in 1 Grey Cup, and we had that game won except for the last minute, and we lost the final few seconds.
In a province that has waited 12 years for another championship, fans will be eagerly watching 1 touchdown at a time. Damien Smith, CTV News, Regina.
Coming up, Wes Cates looks back at when he faced the Alouettes in the Grey Cup while analyzing Sunday's showdown in Winnipeg.
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
Welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates, although this is a special one. It's the Grey Cup edition with the Riders facing off against the Alouettes in Winnipeg. And Wes, unfortunately, because it's the Alouettes, a lot can be brought back this week. That includes 2010 and 2009. Right. So what can you tell us about those experiences?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was. I was thinking, Montreal. But you know what I was thinking, Lee? I was like, maybe the football gods have a little payback for the Riders, right? Because, I mean, we played great in 09, did give it away there in the last 7 minutes, didn't win that one, and then it was almost like the same script in 2010, kind of the way the game was back and forth, but Montreal found a way to pull it out. So I think, with that considered, and, as long as everybody's on the up and up and, saying their Hail Marys, maybe the Riders will get it this time. But it's a good matchup, and it's kind of turned into one of those matchups that I think people across the league kind of remember and like to see. So, it's a good way to finish off the season.
Davis Alexander is going to be a lot of the talk because it looked like he tweaked his hamstring in the Eastern final. He never played the Riders this year. He was injured both times. The year before, though, he beat them twice when he came in Montreal, and in Saskatchewan he started and did well. Didn't really beat him leg-wise, but he avoided the pressure with his legs, and he did score a touchdown. So what is the key, do you think, to stopping Davis Alexander in this one?
Yeah, Davis is a heck of a competitor. He's shown that he's going to be a top quarterback in this league as long as he can stay healthy every time he steps on the field. He's very hard to beat, or he's pretty much unbeatable, right? He hasn't been beat. So, like that he's a special talent, but this Riders D is a special defense. And I think that just continuing to get pressure like they did with Nathan Rourke, Rourke had his good and bad moments in that Western final. So I think just continuing to get pressure, throw some linebacker blitzes at him, maybe switch up the secondary coverage, go a little man at times to see if you can kind of throw him off, maybe give him a look that he's not expecting, maybe surprise him that way. But I think that hamstring, unless it's like just a little bit of a slight strain or something, it's probably going to affect him, and I don't think he's going to be as mobile this week. But if it was just something where you kind of tweak it a little bit and he's got a few days and he's back to full health, I'm kind of expecting it to be a little bit more of that than an actual pull, or it might be tough for him to get out there and move around at all. So, this is what you want, though. It's a competitive game. You want to play against the best, and you want to beat the best. So I think the Riders are up for that challenge, and I would take the Riders QB over Davis Alexander right now. I'll take Trevor myself. So, yeah.
So what about Trevor? What does he have to face with his Montreal defense? It's extremely good. They were the best against the pass as far as yards per game in a regular season, about middle of the pack with the run game. And the run game is what really did well for the Riders in their victory in Montreal. So we saw what Ouellette did against the BC Lions. Is he going to be the key today or this week?
I think so. I think the one thing I didn't like was they were a little too conservative in the first half of that Western final. I would like to see them maybe try some chunk plays, try some shots down the field, maybe get it in Trevor's hands a little more often, and then, just be a little more balanced with it, because to come out of the first half with 4 points, we're lucky to get a win in that scenario. If you ask most football experts, if a team only has 4 points at halftime, would they have won that game? They'd probably say no. So I think it's a big part of just, getting Trevor comfortable, getting the receivers the ball so they can get into the game, and maybe that'll extend their, get them more into it, get them blocking downfield, and maybe break a big run for AJ. So, and the O-line's going to play well, I believe. So I think just a balanced attack should do it.
Yeah, they did a good job against the Lions, the O-line. Who you got? Riders?
You got to take the Riders. Yeah, I mean, they've done everything to be the top dogs. Montreal, obviously getting Davis back is big, but the Riders have the most complete team in the CFL this year.
Well, the Riders, or at least the Alouettes, have not lost a game that Davis Alexander has started, but the Grey Cup would be an excellent time to stop that streak, and it would bring the Riders a Grey Cup home. We will analyze the Grey Cup game on another edition of X's and O's.
X's and O's, brought to you by Campion College at the University of Regina.
As the University of Saskatchewan Huskies prepare to host the Mitchell Bowl on Saturday, the football community sharing well wishes for a player who is unable to be on the field. Hallie Madrick explains.
Ahead of their appearance in the Mitchell Bowl this weekend, the University of Saskatchewan Huskies are sending well wishes and love to a teammate who recently received a cancer diagnosis. In a release from the university, it was shared that the football team's starting quarterback, Anton Amandrud, has been diagnosed with lymphoma.
He's not doing it alone. He's got a whole bunch of brothers here to help and support and to love him. There's been so many guys up to see him and do all that kind of stuff. It's heartbreaking. Saw him Monday, saw him yesterday morning as well. The kid's a fighter.
Amandrud has been having an MVP season and was leading the Canada West Conference in passing yards before stepping away Week 5. He currently is 3rd in Huskies football history in completion and 6th in career passing yards. Since Amandrud stepped away, the Huskies have been led by Jake Farrell, who helped guide them to a Hardy Cup victory last week. And while the Huskies starting quarterback may not be physically on the field for the Mitchell Bowl on Saturday afternoon against the Queen's Golden Gales, his teammates say he'll still be in their heads and hearts.
We know that Anton, he wants us to go there and play our hearts out, so a big part of it is just doing it for him, and respecting the game how it is, playing within the circumstances that we find ourselves. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck, but that's the reality right now. And we're gonna play for him.
The U of S says Amandrud and his family are asking for privacy as he starts treatment, but anyone who wants to send a note of encouragement can do so by emailing husky.football@usask.ca. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, business groups are calling for the return of direct flights between Regina and Saskatoon.
Let's take a look at what you can expect for your rural forecast as we head into tomorrow. Again, many areas seeing above 0 temperatures, above average temperatures, and we'll also be seeing a little bit more sunshine. Now, because of the system that's bringing that snow and mixed precipitation from Alberta, we will start to see the cloud cover rolling in first. So in parts of central Saskatchewan, we could expect to see a little bit more, and especially in northern Saskatchewan. Meadow Lake, mostly cloudy, 3 degrees there, 4 mostly cloudy for Melfort and Hudson Bay. But then when we get more into southern Saskatchewan or central Saskatchewan, areas like Watrous, we'll see mix of sun and cloud, 7 degrees. Kindersley, 13, a mix of sun and cloud. Outlook, 12, and a mix of sun and cloud. And then the closer we get to the southern border, even warmer temperatures. Now the southwest seeing very warm temperatures. 17 is the expected daytime high for Leader and Maple Creek. 14 for East End Cypress. 16 degrees for Rockglen and Coronach and Assiniboia. And then over in the east, cooler than that, but still above 0 and above seasonal. 6 for Kenora, 9 for Broadview, 8 for Carlisle. And if we take a closer look at Bethune, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel, 10 degrees, mainly sunny in the Bethune and the surrounding areas. Winds anywhere between 20 to 30. The 10-degree daytime high could feel closer to about +7. So a very nice November day expected for Bethune.
The province removing some barriers on name changes, making it easier for people to register a birth, a marriage, or request a legal name change. Changes include allowing more than 2 surnames to be registered, permitting single names or mononymous if the name holds cultural or religious significance, and more. The legislation also receives the requirement to provide proof a spouse is aware of a name change to protect privacy and personal safety. It also lays the foundation for upcoming changes, expanding the list of offenses that provide people convicted of serious crimes from changing their names. Premier back in Saskatchewan after a brief trip to Ontario to meet with India's delegation at the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting. Scott Moe met with India's Minister of External Affairs and others to talk about possible steps toward removing tariffs on yellow peas, along with other trade opportunities on potash, uranium, and agri-food products. Last year, Saskatchewan exported $1.5 billion in goods to India. Top commodities included lentils, peas, and potash. Work is ongoing to bring back regular flights between Saskatoon's and Regina's airport. I feel like I'm flying. Saskatchewan's businesses say they're ready for a takeoff. A joint survey from the Regina and Saskatoon Chamber of Commerce show a strong desire to link the two cities, with 94% of respondents saying they would use the service. 70% said they would use the service once or twice a month, with about $500 listed as the preferred fare amount.
When there is good demand and consistent demand, that business case starts to shift. You can de-risk it if you're an operator, because you know that there's a ready and willing set of people who are going to take you up on the service and are going to use it religiously.
If you want to book a flight from Saskatoon to Regina right now, you would have to have a layover in either Edmonton, Calgary, or Winnipeg. That don't work. Markets, TSX up 418 points today. The Dow Jones up by 326. As for that Canadian dollar, it went up 0.05 of a cent to 71.43 cents U.S. Commodities, gold up $68.54. West Texas Intermediate crude down $2.50, while Western Canadian Select crude went up 96 cents. So has that changed gas? Well, it has, but it's gone down actually. It is now $1.26.9 per liter, cents per liter for about pretty much anywhere in Regina.
30% fewer Canadians made the drive across the border last month compared to October of 2024. It is the 10th straight month of lower border traffic. Canadians started turning away from those car trips a month after the U.S. president was elected. The number of Canadians flying to the U.S. also dropped last month by 24%. Loblaw reporting earnings showing both revenue and profit are up in its latest quarter. Revenue came in over $19 billion, an increase of about $1 billion from the same period last year. Loblaw's discount stores like No Frills are doing well, and Loblaw owns Shoppers Drug Mart. Pharmacy and healthcare sales are also up. Baytex Energy selling its Eagle Ford assets in Texas for over $3 billion. But the company isn't sharing who is buying the light oil infrastructure. The Baytex CEO says he wants to focus on operations in Alberta and Saskatchewan. The deal announced today sent Baytex shares up. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
Coming up tonight, The Floor starts at 7 o'clock, followed by George and Mandy's First Marriage, The Amazing Race, Big Bang Theory, E-Talk, and then we've got national and local news. So, The Floor. It's a game show. If you look to the sky last night, chances are you got a glimpse of the northern lights.
That's right. A powerful geomagnetic storm created a stunning light show across most of North America, stretching to Kansas, Wisconsin, Colorado, and even as far as south as Florida. The storm is created by, what is that word?
Don't worry about it. Charged particles blast towards Earth, thousands of kilometers per second. If you missed them last night, the lights could be visible tonight, too. I love those colors, the pinks, the lime greens.
The particles, it depends on what they, like oxygen, like how they hit, that's where the colors are formed. So, and tonight is the peak of the storm.
The peak?
Yeah, so you can see those lights again.
All right, hundreds of bagpipers claimed a new world record today in Australia.
374 pipers broke the record when they all played AC/DC's rock and roll classic, It's a Long Way to the Top. Thousands of spectators crammed the square in Melbourne for the attempt. The Australian Book of Records confirmed this beat a record set by 333 pipers in Bulgaria in 2012.
Pipers! I didn't mind that, actually. Bagpipers.
Why did you say it like that?
I think the big question is, why do I do anything?
He said it.